Hey you guys, it's your girl T, and I want to go ahead and shout out Trissy for Life on Twitter. Trissy was the first one to send me this disturbing story, and it's coming out of our favorite state, Ratchet ass Florida. So what's going on in Florida now is that you have a South Carolina woman who done drove her ass from South Carolina to basically drive her ass into the sea and attempt to kill her and her 3 children, and she was also pregnant. This story is very disturbing, but there's a lot of heroes with this story as well. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a news clip, and I will come back with the rest of my commentary.
In her minivan, driving directly into the Atlantic Ocean. With one of the kids literally leaning out of the window yelling, "Help us," bystanders leap into action with only seconds to prevent a worst-case scenario. And all the while, there was a camera rolling. ABC's Steve Osunsami is on the story.
Imagine driving past a beach and seeing this, a car deliberately driving into the ocean.
Are they saying help?
Then suddenly you hear the screams of small children.
If they're saying help, that's different.
Believe your eyes, that's a child waving out the window.
You sit still.
What would you do? Tim Tessinier didn't hesitate. He jumps out of his car to help, his wife recording it all.
And there's one kid in the back seat just screaming, you know, help us, our mom's trying to kill us.
That's when his family vacation in Daytona Beach, Florida turned into a race against time to save 3 little children from a watery grave.
All I was worried about was those kids. You know, that's all I cared about. They was screaming and their outstretched arms, and I don't know, I just did what come natural, I think.
21-year-old Stacy Robinson was also there, pleading with the kid's 32-year-old mother, Ebony Wilkerson, to turn the car around.
The son was snatching at the wheel, trying to get her to come back towards the shore.
And we're like, lady, you got to get out of the water. We're just trying to talk to her, you know. And she looked back at us with this awful blank stare. Just, I've been using the word possessed. I hate to use that, but that's what it looked like.
We're okay. That's all she was saying. We're okay. We're okay. And the son was tugging on the wheel. When I was speaking to her, her eyes was like,
was wide.
Wide.
They say she just kept driving. Stacy never lets go of the car. The surf is up to his chest. He reaches into the van to get the power windows down and his arms around 2 of the children, ages 9 and 10.
I pulled the son out first and then the daughter, and I came walking out with both of them. I still don't believe it happened. I'm just glad I was there.
People watching from the shore can't believe their eyes.
The waves were just pounding into the water and down until it submerged.
While a passing tourist captured it all on video. In the middle of the chaos, a shocking discovery. There was still another child, the youngest, a 3-year-old, still trapped in a car seat in the back. Lifeguards try to open the front door, but it looks like the mother is attempting to stop them. Watch again. There's a struggle, and then the mother just walks away. Seconds later, they get the toddler out through the back.
God almighty, there's a baby in the car. Michael?
One of the 2 lifeguards still inside, barely getting out in time.
Watching them carry the kids out of the van was very emotional. I mean, we were jumping up for joy and screaming and for goodness, yeah. And
just 5 seconds later, look closely, a huge wave that nearly pushes the car out to sea.
The waves were strong, the water was cold. They got in the water, got them out of there quickly. If it had been minutes longer, the outcome probably would have been different.
Late today, authorities reported Wilkerson is pregnant and that she actually had been in contact with police just hours before the incident. Her sister called 911 to warn them about Wilkerson's potential mental health issues.
I tried to take her to the hospital yesterday, and she signed herself out today. She's getting a little bit better, but she's still not all here. So she's trying to drive, and I'm trying to stop her. And she had her kids, so I took her keys.
She had some crisis, but they did not meet the criteria to be able to do anything with her at that time.
A few hours later, she would end up here. Authorities have yet to file any charges, but she's currently undergoing mental evaluations. Her children are all in state custody. Safe because a few heroes took action in the nick of time.
I hugged them. I said, y'all are going to be okay, I promise. That kid his arms was outstretched and crying, and the look, you know, is just begging for help. You know, that's just something, I thought about that all the way. I went ahead and drove all the way home last night, and that's all I can think about.
Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Daytona Beach.
Okay, so you guys just watched the news clip, and I thank God that those bystanders saw what was going on and they sprung into action. So many times you hear about this whole bystander effect, and if there's a lot of people standing there, they won't do anything. I thought that the bystander effect was bullshit, and I always thought it was just an excuse for people who didn't do anything to basically, feel better about their guilt for not intervening. Both these men did not hesitate. They saw other people on the beach. They didn't think, oh, somebody else is going to do it. They all chose to run towards that water, put their life in danger to save some children that they did not know. I mean, this story was just so heart-wrenching. And kudos to that black man, Stacy. He is a hero. He is those kids' guardian angel. It's just really, really refreshing to see the news showing a black man in a good light. Doing something, being a hero, saving some children, showing that not all black men are out here shiftless and they just sit back and watch shit play out. He didn't grab his phone and yell out world star hip hop. He jumped in there and he saved those kids' lives along with that other gentleman. And I'm just so happy and I'm just so proud of them, and I want to thank them. These ain't even my kids. I want to thank them for stepping outside their comfort zone and putting their lives on the line to save these children. And kudos to the children. Kudos to that older one for knowing that his life was in danger and that he had nothing else to lose but to yell for help. Did you hear him screaming that my mom's going to kill me? My mom's going to kill us. Somebody help. You could hear the terror. God, I got chills. You could hear the terror in that little boy's voice. I mean, I just felt so bad for these kids. And now the woman, they took her to a mental hospital. She's not being arrested. She's claiming that, it was a misunderstanding, that she didn't mean to kill her kids. This woman is full of shit.
DAYTONA Beach Tuesday has denied trying to harm her 3 children, but Volusia County Sheriff says witnesses and even the children say otherwise.
We had witnesses who tried to get the children out of the car, which she tried to keep them from rescuing the children.
The sheriff also says the van's windows were up and the van's doors locked, which is why 31-year-old Ebony Wilkerson of South Carolina now faces criminal charges.
Miss Wilkerson has been arrested on 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 3 counts of aggravated child abuse.
In charging her, investigators also relied on what several of the bystanders who rushed to rescue the children had to say.
We heard the kids say, "Please help me, our mom's trying to kill us."
Turns out police in that area had stopped Wilkerson 2 hours earlier following a 911 call from her sister.
So are you wanting to see if you can get her, Baker acted? If necessary.
Florida's Baker Act allows someone to be involuntarily committed for possible mental illness or if they're deemed a harm to themselves or others. But the sheriff says that wasn't the case with Wilkerson.
And she showed nothing. There was no display that she was a danger to herself or anyone at that time.
Wilkerson, who's pregnant, has been transferred to the county jail after spending time since Tuesday at a local mental health clinic. Chris Clackham, NBC.
This woman, Ebony Wilkerson, is full of shit. She needs to be in jail. The entire situation reminds me of the situation that happened back in 2011 with LaShonda Armstrong. She was a woman from New York, and she basically drove into the New York harbor, some harbor out there in New York, and she drove in to kill her 3 children. But by the grace of God, her 10-year-old son, LaShawn, jumped out the window at the last minute, and he was able to save himself while watching his mother and his siblings drown. I feel like that is where Ebony Wilkerson got that idea from. She got it from LaShonda. And, like I've talked to you guys about, I've battled depression. I've attempted suicide 3 separate times. So I understand being depressed. I understand feeling like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I understand, just feeling just worthless. I understand that. But never once in my depression, never once in my suicidal haze did I ever think to take my kids out, or did I ever think that my kids were unworthy of living here. It's one thing if you want to kill yourself, but to take innocent children with you, I have no respect or sympathy for this woman. My only sympathy goes out to these children. These children did not ask to be here, and you had no right to take them out or even attempt to take them out because of whatever you were feeling. There's nothing worse than a murder-suicide. It's one thing to kill yourself, but leave other people alone. I just feel so bad for these kids, and I just thank God that they were saved. And imagine all the stuff that LaShawn is going through, that poor boy who escaped his fate, but then had to sit there and watch his brothers and his mother, basically drown to death. I mean, this is just the most selfish shit. If you don't want your children, if you don't want to be bothered with them, let them go to their father's house. Send them with a relative. Her sister was very proactive. Her sister called the police. Her sister was trying to get a 24-hour hold on her. She knew something was wrong with her sister, you know, and her sister tried. But it's just so many folks walking around here with depression and mental illness. It's like we have to take these things seriously. When folks are asking for help, when folks are crying out for help, stop assuming they're just looking for attention. Stop assuming that they're just attention whores. They are really crying out for help. It's really that serious. And especially when somebody has children, you have to step up because you just never know. You just never know. They may go from being suicidal to being suicidal and homicidal in a matter of moments. You know, so this whole situation is it's just sad. You know, it's just really, really sad that she thought there was no other way out. And like I said, I've been there. So you know, I can empathize with that part of it, but I can't empathize with the whole taking my kids out with me, and if I'm not gonna live, nobody can live, and if I can't have my children, their father can't. That's sick and that's selfish. Point blank, period. I have no respect for that at all. I mean, the whole situation is just sad as hell. So anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this entire story. What do you think about this woman doing that? And then what do you think about her saying that, you know, she didn't mean to do it. It was just a misunderstanding because now she doesn't want to go to jail. So let me know your thoughts on everything. All right. Deuces.